afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now Live at 4.
It's Friday. I hope you could hear Michael Bruno. They heard him in the next county, I think.
Yeah, they actually did. And what a difference a day makes from yesterday to today.
Yeah, those were some serious storms. Were the dogs under the bed?
No, we were downstairs. We were fine.
Oh, that's good.
Lola can't hear him anymore.
Oh, that's a benefit. That's a perk.
That is a good thing.
And now a chance to dry out.
Yeah, at least for a day or two. But first, here's what's making news on this Friday. The jury spent only a few hours deliberating the fate of retired priest William Nolan. Rose Schmidt was in the courtroom.
There are still a lot of people are still mopping up in parts of southwestern Wisconsin after that heavy rain last night.
And Jamie Perez looks at a new system to let Verona parents know if there are safety issues in their schools.
Let's take a look outside today. It was cloudy, a little breezy.
This is Anchorage, Alaska, however.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, we were just going through the different shots and thought, well, that's a cool one.
Yeah, good idea.
A little time to dry out around here. Looks like it might be raining there, but Dave is in the backyard. A little chilly out today.
Yeah, after that cold front came through, all that energy in the atmosphere was kind of swept away, and we were left with cooler and less humid conditions. Also, some clouds throughout the day, but some peaks of sunshine as well. Visible cloud track showing those partly sunny skies throughout southern Wisconsin. In Madison, we're seeing those partly sunny skies, but also some blue sky and sunshine on the WISC-TV Skycam. Temperatures are in the mid-60s, upper 60s in some spots, and near 70 degrees near Lake Michigan in Milwaukee and Kenosha. Wind speeds have relaxed just a little bit compared to earlier this afternoon, but still a little bit gusty in spots out of the west at about 8 to 15 miles per hour, but gusting closer to 25 to 30 miles per hour. And along that lake shore, we're seeing some gusts right now of about 40 miles per hour. So keep that in mind this evening. We still could see things be a little bit blustery, at least for the next couple of hours. Temperatures will fall through the 60s into the 50s by later on tonight, with clearing skies as we head into the overnight hours. So let's take a look at the first alert traffic update. Our traffic camera is on shuffle right now, but at the interstate is looking at a little bit of volume at the present time. Across Dane County, no major accidents or incidents to report. Traffic generally heading out the posted speeds. There are some road closures, though, especially as you turn to southwestern Wisconsin in relation to flooding, and one of those is Wisconsin 133. The road is blocked in between County Road T and Lake Road. That is near Muscadet. So a little bit closer to home once again. We're looking at those normal Beltline backups for a Friday afternoon. 11 minutes from Verona Road to John Nolan eastbound with an average speed of around 25 miles per hour. Some other routes in and around Madison, a little bit slow. Westbound Middleton to Sauk City on Highway 12. That'll cost you 22 minutes at the present time. That is your first alert traffic update. We'll take a look at what to expect as we head into this weekend, and maybe some more storms into next week in your first alert forecast.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. First at 4, a retired priest is found not guilty on all 5 counts of sexual assault of a child.
Jurors in Jefferson County deliberated for 4 hours before William Nolan was acquitted of all charges. Rose Schmidt spoke with him and joins us live from the Jefferson County Courthouse to explain his next steps. Rose?
Right after the jury gave the verdict, I asked Nolan to tell me how he was feeling, and he said relieved. I also asked a member of the accuser's family if they would like to speak, but they declined to comment at this time. Now, William Nolan was facing 5 counts of second-degree sexual assault of a child after a judge dropped a 5th charge. He was accused of sexually assaulting an altar boy between 2006 and 2010, but a jury found him not guilty on all counts. There were cheers and hugs in the courtroom from his family and many of his longtime parishioners. As for Nolan's next steps, he tells me he has to talk to the diocese, but he does want to get back into ministry and help out on a limited amount. I asked Nolan what he wants to say to the accuser, and he says he'll never forget the way that he has ruined his life. Nolan tells us this week the trial has been very, very stressful, and he says he knew he was telling the truth and there were inconsistencies with the accuser's story. We also asked Nolan how he moves forward after a year like this, and he said one day at a time. I asked him if he will be returning to Our Lady Queen of Peace Parish in Madison, and he said not at this time, but he does plan on trying to go somewhere else. Again, the accuser's family declined to comment at this time.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting live from Jefferson County. Thank you.
Actress Felicity Huffman will spend 14 days behind bars for her part in the massive college admissions scandal. The Desperate Housewives star received her sentence in federal court in Boston. Huffman pleaded guilty to fraud and conspiracy charges in May after paying a proctor $15,000 in 2017 to help boost her daughter's SAT scores. She will also be on probation for 1 year and must pay a $30,000 fine and complete 250 hours of community service.
Madison police are looking for a driver who hit a man who was crossing Northport Drive last night, then took off and left him in the middle of the street. The 60-year-old man has life-threatening injuries, and police say this could turn into a homicide case. But right now, investigators don't have much to go on. Surveillance footage only shows a dark-colored car, and no witnesses have come forward. If you were in the area near Walgreens around 10 o'clock last night, or maybe see a neighbor's car with new front end damage, call Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
Grant County residents are still cleaning up the damage to their homes and schools after last night's severe storms flooded the area. The county called the school around 9 o'clock last night to warn of some unpassable roads that would make it difficult for buses to get to Boscobel Middle and High School. The principal says some students live in rural areas where the roads were flooded with rain and mud, so they made the decision to cancel school today, which the principal says is rare and something he has never seen since he became a teacher.
That was odd because it was that time of the year and not snowfall, so that was unique, but unfortunate, but we'd rather keep people safe.
The Boscobel football team will still play its scheduled game tonight. The opponent's school did not experience any storm damage. The students will return to school on Monday. When we send our kids to school, of course, we want to make sure that they're safe.
Of course, in our society nowadays, safety can never be 100% guaranteed. But Jamie Perez joins us now with how the Verona Area School District is doing its best to make their schools as safe as possible. Jamie?
Yeah, well, I learned that for the first time ever, the Verona Area School District is using a new safety tip line. So students, parents, and staff can call, text, or email if they feel threatened by something related to violence, weapons, drugs, you name it. And this came at no cost to the district to start using it. The security coordinator at the Verona Area Schools said this is something they hope to never have to use, but they are glad that it's there just in case. He said he would rather be safe than sorry.
If the tip line wasn't in place and that wasn't there, would that student have shared that? And then what would have happened as a result of us not getting that information?
So far, they haven't had any students have to use it so far this year, which is a good thing. Now, the other thing about this is that it's a completely anonymous tip line, which they believe will help in getting students to report things that they see that might put their safety at risk. I have a link to more information about the tip line on channel3000.com, plus a more in-depth story to kind of explain more details about it tonight at 6.
All right, we will see you then. Thanks,
Sure.
Jamie.
NFL player Antonio Brown will be eligible to play for the New England Patriots. Brown has been accused of rape and sexual assault in a civil case in Florida. He won't go on the commissioner's exempt list because no criminal charges have been filed. Players on the commissioner's exempt list can't play in games or practice with a team, but they're still paid. Brown has denied the allegations by his former trainer.
Former New England Patriot Rob Gronkowski is opening up about the punishment his body took during his 9 seasons in the NFL. Gronkowski said he had a pint of blood drained from his body after one of his Super Bowl appearances and admitted to having nearly 20 concussions. But Gronkowski said he believes most football injuries are fixable and that education is the key when it comes to keeping football players safe.
I had 9 surgeries, probably had like 20 concussions in my life, like no lie. Probably like, I remember like 5 like blackout ones.
Gronkowski surprised more than a few football fans when he retired earlier this year in the prime of his career. The 30-year-old is now an investor in a healthcare company that uses CBD products to help athletes recover from injuries.
And the singer, whose hits included 2 Tickets to Paradise and Take Me Home Tonight, has died. Eddie Money received a Best Rock Vocal Grammy nomination for Take Me Home Tonight in 1987. His publicist says Money died peacefully at his home this morning. He recently announced that he had stage 4 esophageal cancer. Eddie Money was just 70 years old.
Well, there's more to come tonight at 4. When we come back, the demand for something to be done about climate change comes to the White House.
And that demand is coming from a 16-year-old girl. That story when Live at 4 continues. Welcome back. A 16-year-old climate change activist brought her message and hundreds of other young demonstrators to the White House.
It was a rally to demand action. Hundreds of young people marched to the White House to protest inaction on climate change. And joining them was a Swedish teenager, Greta Thunberg, in her first high-profile event during her 6-day visit to Washington. The climate change activist, you may recall, arrived in the U.S. 2 weeks ago after sailing on a zero-emissions yacht from Europe.
We're here to support Greta. We are also from Sweden, but we live here in DC, but also because we really believe that something needs to be done.
The protest comes as multiple polls show more Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of climate change. Thunberg has been invited to testify before a House panel next week on Capitol Hill.
Stocks were mostly lower on Wall Street, but the Dow did manage to extend its 7-day streak of gains. The blue chip index ended up 37 points, closing the week at 27,219. The S&P 500 lost 17. I'm sorry, NASDAQ lost 17. The S&P was off 2. The second annual Madison Fitness Week kicks off on Sunday.
With the purchase of a $25 ticket, you can try as many fitness studios in Madison as you want for 1 week, and the majority of the ticket sales go to the United Way of Dane County. Fitness Week was founded by Kellyanne Chiron, who owns the Barcode in Madison. Kellyanne, welcome to Live at 4.
What a great idea.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is a great idea because there are so many choices in Madison now.
Exactly.
And all kinds of different classes. So tell us what the idea
Yeah.
was behind Fitness Week.
Well, it was exactly that. I wanted to set something up to give the Madison community a chance to try out different workouts and really see what they like.
And they're more boutique kind of workout facilities.
Yes, more boutique fitness studios.
The
Yeah.
Harbor's that, Harbor Athletics.
Harbor is on there, yeah.
How many studios and businesses do you have participating this year?
So this year we have over 30.
Wow.
Wow.
So that covers everything from yoga to bar to cycling.
Boxing, yeah, everything.
So you can do 6 a day,
Yeah, yeah. You could do 30 classes if you wanted to.
but you have to call each individual studio, set up an appointment, and these classes are probably going to fill up.
They probably will. So yes, definitely you can book online. Some you do have to call or email, but definitely book ahead of time before getting there.
And you get your Fitness Week ticket online as well. Where do you get that?
Yes, so you can purchase it at madisonfitnessweek.com, and with that ticket, you just will have to show that ticket when you get to the gym before you take your class.
There's just so many different kind of exercises, classes, and studios in Madison. It's kind of a fun way to check them all out.
Exactly.
What's all on the list?
So we do have kickboxing, we have Pilates, we have cycling, we have CrossFit, which is really cool. So a really wide range of different types of workouts.
And then this ends a week from Sunday with a big celebration at Bree Stevens Field.
Yes, exactly. Myself and a few other local fitness instructors will be teaching a workout, and then it will be followed by what everyone in Madison loves, a free beer, thanks to Michelob Ultra.
Well, after working out all week, you could use a couple of beers, right?
Exactly.
We have a national sponsor this year. That's
Yes.
a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It really has grown so much in just 1 year. So.
Have you had any interest from other cities about this?
You know, I have gotten calls from friends, or I'm also Lululemon ambassador, so other Lululemon ambassadors interested in doing something like this in their city. So I just hope it's inspired other fitness weeks across the nation.
And as a business owner yourself, did it bring more people into your business? What was your experience after last year?
Absolutely. I mean, during Fitness Week last year, our classes were full. It was a really exciting time, and it just, it brought people into the studio that might not have come in otherwise. So it was really beneficial.
And I assume that's why the other studios get involved as well. Hopefully, sign up some new members.
Yeah, exactly. After last year, I connected with all of the other owners, and many told me that they've got 20 new people in that week when usually they get 1 or 2. So it was just a really exciting time.
It's sort of like restaurant week for the body.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah,
and it's a great opportunity without having to actually sign on
Commit.
a membership.
Exactly.
Yeah, commit right from the beginning.
Yeah.
This is for me, this isn't, I like this, I don't like that.
Right.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
$25, that's the price of most classes in some places.
Exactly, yeah.
So say the website again to get the ticket.
MadisonFitnessWeek.com.
Well, good luck.
Thank you very much.
We have a huge turnout.
Yeah, I hope
Thank
so too.
you.
I'm going to try bar. I really am. I'll be there.
Sign up.
Come on.
Yeah. Great to see you, Kellyanne. Thank you
you so
very
much.
much.
Thanks for coming in. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Take a look at this. 14-year-old Samuel is not exactly a samurai master. He accidentally slices the side of this inflatable pool,
no.
flooding his Arkansas backyard. Let's take another look at that. The teenager's about to show his uncle, who's behind the camera, a trick with his sword. To his credit, he does slice the apple in half. Take a look. As well as the pool.
Look at the look on his face.
I love right after, like, he still has the sword in his hand. There's no one else it could have been.
Yeah, what? It wasn't me.
No, it was the stump. It was the apple. It was the apple's fault.
Apple's fault.
Well, we have a programming note. Tonight's Prep Mania high school football game of the week is at Mansfield Stadium. Middleton visits Madison Memorial. Jay Wilson, Bill Brophy, and Al Minert will bring you the game. That's live tonight at 7 o'clock on channel3000.com.
And we'll have 3 other games live tonight. Edgewood at Oregon, Fort Atkinson at Stoughton, and Milton at Monona Grove. That's tonight starting at 7 on channel3000.com.
Nice night for football?
It is football weather.
Oh, yeah. With the lower humidity out there, the little bit of a breeze, it feels like fall. You just want to get on the gridiron and start hitting some people.
All right, Dave.
Sorry,
Settle down.
a little too excited. Sorry. I may still be waterlogged from that rain last night. We'll talk about what to expect as we head into this weekend in your first alert forecast in just a few yards. Good afternoon and happy Friday. Definitely a little bit more sunshine compared to yesterday, or at least a little bit quieter, should I say, because that cold front has passed us and moved on to the east. We still do have that low pressure system to the north. You can actually see the circulation in the clouds there on visible cloud track. I do think those clouds will be on the decrease as we head into later this evening, and overnight we'll see mostly clear skies, allowing those temperatures to cool into the 50s. But because of that low pressure system and that pressure gradient, we've talked about that before on the show, we've had some pretty gusty winds today out of the west at about 15 miles per hour sustained, but gusting closer to 35 and 40 miles per hour across southern Wisconsin. That wind will diminish as we get into the overnight hours. Doppler track has been quiet across the state of Wisconsin today, a big change from yesterday with that powerful cold front producing those showers and thunderstorms, tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings yesterday. But right now, a lot quieter. And I think that trend is going to continue into the next 24 hours or so. We could see a few showers and storms overnight Saturday into early Sunday. 5-day rainfall is showing some pretty scary colors, especially across portions of southwestern Wisconsin, specifically Grant County, where I was yesterday. A lot of rain has fallen over the last 5 days, and closer to the Illinois state line in Walworth and Rock counties, anywhere from about 7 to 8 inches of rain estimated just over the last 5 days. In Lancaster, about 8 inches of rain reported this week. Beloit, about 5.5. Kenosha, about 4 inches of rain. In Madison, over 3 inches, and that's just at the airport. Southern Dane County has really received quite a bit of rainfall, so it's nice that we get a little bit of a break from those showers and storms. Madison on the Edgewater Skycam looking at partly sunny skies. Not a bad evening shaping up across southern Wisconsin. That wind could relax a little bit for my taste. We're in the low 70s for highs today, so just a tick below normal for this time of year. We should be right around 73 degrees. Temperatures right now are in the mid to upper 60s across southern Wisconsin. Janesville still at 70, and those winds are still gusting closer to 25 miles per hour. So we hope that the skies clear over the next couple of hours, because it is Friday the 13th and the harvest full moon is scheduled to peak tonight, specifically at around 11:30. And so this is the first time since 2000, specifically October 13th, where the full moon has fallen on Friday the 13th. So might be a couple of weird happenings in the football games tonight because of the superstition involved. And if you miss it, the next time to see a Friday the 13th full moon is 2049, so in 30 years. So make sure you try and get out tonight. It is a mini moon because the moon is far away at this time, so it actually will appear about 14% smaller than a typical supermoon, but still head out and enjoy, because I think those clouds are going to diminish tonight. We will be in the lower 80s for the start of next week, so above normal temperatures for much of the next 10 days. Not crazy warm, but still above normal for this time of year. We'll be in the lower to middle 50s tonight, partly cloudy in the evening, then clear and cooler overnight. Tomorrow, highs in the mid 70s, mostly sunny and milder. So the quiet weather continuing into tomorrow. We'll see those clouds on the decrease overnight, dipping into the lower to middle 50s to start Saturday. Highs in the mid 70s, plenty of sunshine tomorrow afternoon, but then into the overnight hours and early Sunday morning, a couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm, not out of the question. Not looking at anything too serious when it comes to rainfall totals, which is good news, but you may need to prepare for a couple more raindrops as we head into late Saturday and early Sunday. 10-day forecast showing humidity on the increase to start next week. Now, we're not talking about midsummer typical humidity, but it will be more humid than it typically is for this time in September. So we'll be ready for that for early next week, and then showers and thunderstorms becoming likely Wednesday night into Thursday. Those high temperatures head into the lower to middle 70s by the time we get to next weekend.
Summer's not over.
Not over just yet. It seems like, you know, fall wants to come into town, and then summer is like, nope, we still got 10 days of me. Don't forget about me.
Yeah. Looks like a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, not too bad.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Well, no Badger game this weekend, but there is a new edition of CBS Sunday Morning. Let's see what's in store. Jane Pauley joining us now with a preview of what's coming up Sunday morning. Good afternoon, Jane.
Hey, Mark. Well, we've got the best-selling boy band of all time, the Backstreet Boys, are back. It is 26 years since they got together in 1993, when the oldest was 21 and the youngest 13. They were huge in the 90s. Hit songs like Quit Playing Games with My Heart and I Want It That Way. And the hysterical fans and the whole thing, of course. And then, predictably, it stops. The story of their unpredictable 26-year journey back is told by our Tracy Smith. Here's a clip.
Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake.
There was times when the radio wasn't even playing us anymore. And there was times when producers, wouldn't give us the time of day at all. And,
even after you were big, there was time.
Yeah. We never changed. We've always stayed true to who we are. For us to stay on this steady path for the last 26 years and never falter, it actually worked, you know? I mean, it paid off.
It did. The Backstreet Boys are back with new music and a sold-out world tour. I think you'll love this story.
Can we still call them a boy band?
Yes.
Old boy band.
Yes, they're just bigger boys.
Bigger, older boys.
Yeah.
All right, what else is on the show?
Well, Mo Rocca is back with Hollywood's inimitable Angie Dickinson, who Mo describes her career as a half-century masterclass in the art of seduction. And the kids are back in school, including Jim Gaffigan's children. And, of course, he's got some thoughts on that. So we'll see you Sunday morning on Sunday Morning.
Yes, you will. Thank you, Jane, for being with us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Mark.
It's a
Looks
good
like
show.
a good show, yeah.
As usual.
As usual.
Well, still to come before, you've probably seen ads on TV for the new 5G cell service.
We'll find out what that is, how it will affect your life, and when it's coming to Madison. That's when Live at 4 continues. There's a live look at Chicago. Beautiful skyline. Not a bad way to start the weekend. We're obviously like spinning around the satellite to get different pictures today.
Guess the skyline.
It's Friday. Well, you may have heard about 5G cell service. It simply means the 5th generation of cell phone technology, and it is coming to Madison eventually.
But just exactly what it is and how it will affect our lives, well, it turns out it's complicated. 5G, the 5th generation of cell service, promises speeds of up to 100 times faster than the current 4G service.
With 5G, what we're supposed to be able to do, the specification by the Internet Telecommunications Union.
There is one.
There is one. They say a minimum of 1 million devices per square kilometer.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so I went and looked it up. Madison, about 1,100 people per square kilometer. So like between you and me, that's 2,000 devices each.
All 4 major U.S. carriers have some sort of 5G service, but it's only in a few cities and only in a few neighborhoods. Verizon has spotty service in Chicago and Minneapolis, and that's partly because 5G requires its own cell antennas. Wireless companies in the U.S. say they'll need to install 300,000 new antennas for the rollout of 5G. An antenna every couple of blocks, like this experimental one at Westtown Mall in Madison. That's going to be a challenge for cities.
When it comes to public land and public right-of-way, they're going to have to work with the city. So that could mean poles, light poles, city buildings, anything that might be public infrastructure in the public right-of-way. Typically, that's where they will be located.
The companies have to get permits before any antennas can be installed, and that process is pretty strict in Madison.
The guidelines are in place for a reason. From FCC regulation, for health concerns, for public right-of-way and public infrastructure standpoint. Those are all in place to try to protect that.
So once everything's in place, then what? First, you'll need one of the few pricey 5G compatible phones, like the $1,300 Samsung S10 5G. And how fast is 5G? Well, one of the biggest challenges in testing the signal is finding it in the first place. But once you do, it's pretty darn fast.
It's going to be really nice at first, then it's going to get pretty crowded. Then we're going to find out they'll have to solve this problem where we can't get through walls.
Yeah, it's a little inconvenient to have to be outside to use your phone. Yes, you heard right. Cell companies are now focused on speed. They're using something called the millimeter wave. It's the fastest and most responsive form of 5G, but it doesn't travel very far.
The minimum speed you should expect as a user would only be double what you get right about now.
It's pretty fast now.
It's reasonably fast. People seem to want to be able to download an entire movie in 10 seconds. I don't know who can watch them that fast, right? But the argument that always comes up is, oh dear, I really have to get on a plane. Quick, I have 10 seconds. Get me the nearest movie.
So in order for 5G to be more reliable, companies will use mid and low band frequencies. It won't be as fast, but it'll work both outdoors and inside buildings.
So round trip time from my device to its destination and back in a millisecond? Takes you about 100 milliseconds to blink. So this would be the stuff that's ultra reliable and low latency. It's gonna be more robust. We're gonna have to have more of these antennas around. If we end up in this high spectrum, we're gonna need more of it.
The FCC is trying to free up more frequencies.
We're gonna have to allocate more space in those lower bands, preferably in the low bands, because then, you can go up to Hayward and have your movie in 10 seconds.
Faster phones are just an incidental benefit of 5G. Without it, there'd be no self-driving cars or robotic surgeries.
They're talking about the traffic lights being online. They're talking about flood detection being online, flood sensors. When we start to automate all of these things and we automate all these sensors and then the things that go and address the sensors, you get a smarter city.
5G right now is a work in progress. The 4 major carriers promise nationwide coverage by the end of next year. And when will we see it in Madison? Stay tuned. And once 5G service eventually makes its way here, don't worry, your current 4G phone will still work fine.
Okay.
You don't have to get a new phone.
It's a lot of info. I have a headache. That's a lot of information.
Listen, try to write that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You saw me struggling over that, but I think that sort of sums it
The
up.
future, yeah.
Yep.
Here
All
it
right.
comes.
There's more to come at 4. A new musical, Comet Boy, makes its premiere in Madison tonight.
We'll go backstage with Michael Bruno when Live at 4 continues. He'll talk with the show's writer when we come back.
Good afternoon. Here is your Friday First Alert traffic update, taking a live look at the Beltline and Seminole Highway. We're noticing some slow go on the eastbound side, as you might expect. Westbound not looking too bad right now. Average speeds on the Beltline anywhere from about 15 to 25 miles per hour. We're seeing those delays back up closer to Verona Road, eastbound to about, we'll call it Monona Drive. Things are looking pretty good on Stoughton Road, and for Verona Road, couple of delays as you head south. So here are your drive times, 7 minutes right now from westbound John Nolan to Verona Road, average speed of around 40 miles per hour. And to traverse the entire Beltline from University Ave eastbound to the interstate, that'll cost you 31 minutes with an average speed of around 30 miles per hour. That is your First Alert traffic update.
Thank you, Dave. We have a Florida man in the news today. He made his way onto a private golf course in Martin County after threatening 2 golfers with a gun and then stealing their golf cart. He reportedly told deputies he stole the cart because he thought he could make a faster getaway. Adding to the horror, he drove onto the green. Little did the guy know that the carts have GPS, so they automatically stop when driven on a green.
Whoops.
He eventually surrendered No golfers were hurt in this incident. Why is it Florida all the time? Well, a new musical debuts tonight in Madison. It's called Comet Boy.
It is a very personal story for songwriter Jackie Bradley. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage to find out what makes it so personal.
Who'd have thought you'd have a job? Who'd have thought you'd have a car? Who'd have thought that you'd be married and have 7 kids so far?
The story is about my journey with a very good friend who suffered bipolar disorder and depression.
It's about 2 friends, and the first friend meets the other through happenstance. She wants to make her own music and record her own CDs, and so she goes out and seeks a producer.
His name's Jay Leckler, and they struck up a friendship through working together, and their friendship continued to blossom, and they had all sorts of adventures around the city of Madison.
Did you write it recently or late at night after some crazy outing? It's not written exactly like a play where there is some dialogue in it, but mostly it's monologue. And like you say, it's stream of consciousness. He titled the album, All the Lights Are Green Except the One I'm At. And that one's red. An epically long title, but one offering an insight into Comet Boy's complexity.
Let us go out for a swim. The door is open, hop ahead. All the lights are green except the one I'm at, and that one's red.
And they kind of go on their own journey together, as you do in life, and then unfortunately the journey stops, as sometimes friendships do, but only because life went transcending to another place.
That ended, unfortunately, in the suicide of the young man. But the relationship itself is part of the story. It's that whole story of his life and their life together, and then her life after.
I believe it was about a year after his death that I was still struggling to make sense of it, and so I managed to write a CD called Comet Boy, and never really expected it to go further than that. And then it's just been simmering ever since, and this is the year for Comet Boy to streak into our city.
And Michael's here now. You're the director of this piece.
I am honored to be the director of this piece. It's really timely. Suicide is it's an epidemic that's happening in the country right now, and it coincides with National Suicide Awareness and Prevention Week, too.
So it's a fundraiser as well.
It is a fundraiser. It's for the Bandana Project, which was started a couple years back. The University of Wisconsin Madison student distributed green handkerchiefs, kerchiefs, that people wear, and to tell people that they were available to talk about suicide or prevention, just have somebody in ear to listen to.
And Jackie did the play and the music?
Yeah, she originally wrote the CD, and it was a collection of songs that she wrote about her experiences and about Jay, who's Comet Boy. And then we decided that we should make this into a play and have more awareness with it. And so we collaborated, and she wrote the play, and now we're directing for a one-night-only show tonight.
One night only at Brinks Lounge at 8 o'clock tonight, so people can come to the door.
Yes, there are some limited seats available tonight.
$10 donation.
That's correct.
And maybe somewhere down the road, Comet Boy will come streaking back.
We're hoping that he has enough of a life that'll come back again maybe next year soon.
All right, next week.
Next week it's the Book of Mormon at the Overture Center.
Okay.
A little lighter fare.
Yes. Ding dong.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Thanks, Michael. See you next week.
We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. A taste of things to come.
Yes, with temperatures in the 60s right now, we'll be falling through the 60s into the 50s later tonight. Now, hopefully those skies clear a little bit before we get to moonset tomorrow morning, because for the full moon on Friday the 13th peaks later tonight, so that should be fun and a little bit spooky. Temperatures will be less than spooky in the lower to middle 50s as we start tomorrow. Highs in the mid 70s, mostly sunny skies for Saturday, before a slight chance of showers and storms late Saturday into early Sunday morning.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Monday here on Live at 4, we'll meet our Pet of the Week from the Dane County Humane Society.
And our film critic Will Loper will be here to tell us what he thinks of the new movie Hustlers, starring Jennifer Lopez. That's coming up Monday on Live at 4.
Family Fair.
Well, before we wrap things up for the work week, it's time to check in with Lola and Louie.
They've dug up the best animal stories of the week for this week's edition of the News Hounds Now Update.
It's News Hounds Now Update with Lola and Louie.
This week on the News Hounds Now Update, surf's up.
It's a baby elephant walk
And an unwanted visitor.
But first, SeaWorld in San Diego is giving a 5-week-old female northern sea otter a second chance at life. The pup named Cinder was orphaned in Alaska. She was rescued after being found stranded against the rocks by strong currents. Cinder is now being cared for by SeaWorld's animal rescue team. She's in good condition and adjusting well to her new home. She's learning how to swim and groom herself. She's been deemed non-releasable, so eventually she'll be introduced to SeaWorld's 4 other resident female sea otters who were also rescued as pups. Good luck, Cinder.
Mickey, the African elephant, and her 1-month-old male calf made their public debut at the Louisville Zoo. The two have been bonding in their indoor space for the past month and recently started spending mornings outside in the elephant yard before the zoo opens. Mickey is only the second elephant to give birth at the zoo in its 50-year history. No name yet for the little guy. They're holding a contest for that.
It's time to hang 20. The Surf Dogathon was a big hit at the Del Mar Dog Beach near